Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Afternoon Twist with your hosts, Psycho Backpuss and Kayla. Now, please, listen up, enjoy the news. It's the only show that allows you to listen to what happened in the news. It's a magazine that the ROC throws every weekend in order for you to keep being informed, and they cover every story and everything. Sit back, relax, enjoy the Afternoon Twist.
Hello, everybody, in CB Radio Drama Free, on Twitch, on YouTube. It's me, Psycho Bagpuss, and hot from the fax machine. I have some important information about why last night's Brain Tool show was cancelled. I have it from higher sources that there was, now let's see, what does it say? Vomiting, major dump, 65 tons of metal. So Rob the Brain was finding himself sat on the toilet, unable to poop, and Buffalo Tool was moving 65 tons of heavy metal, and I do believe that he was, well, there was plenty of poop involved there with the high winds, and so there we go, from higher sources. We have a report why the Brain Tool show was not airing last night. Moving on. My first story for you this week. Right. Many of us are unsure about what rape means. Could it be any clearer, really? An alarming number of adults remain unclear about what constitutes rape, a worrying report suggests. The End Violence Against Women Coalition said results from the poll of nearly 4,000 people show why access to justice is beyond the reach of many victims. A third of respondents said it would not be rape if there was no sexual violence committed, and 21% of women would not consider an attack rape if the victim had flirted on a date, even if she had not explicitly consented to sex. The report revealed 24% said non-consensual sex with a long-term relationship was not rape, with over 65s more than twice as likely to dismiss a victim's claims as those aged 16 to 24. It also showed a third of men think women cannot change their mind once sex has begun. Rachel Chris, co-director of EVAW, said the YouGov poll of 3,922 people shows confusion, myths about rape are still very common, and may explain why it's hard for jurors to make decisions if they don't understand or agree with our laws. A huge proportion of UK adults who make up jurors in rape trials are still very unclear about what rape is, she added. The hashtag #MeToo movement has shone a light on the scale of sexual violence, and more women are seeking justice. Yet as a society, we are failing to respond to this call for help. It's vital that justice for rape victims is prioritised. We also need guaranteed counselling for all rape survivors and practical legal help if they choose to report to the police. Her calls for a review on how police and the courts deal with rape offences comes 2 months after the Crown Prosecution Service's Violence Against Women and Girls 2017-2018 report shows that the number of defendants charged with rape fell 23.1% per year on year. The CPS denied altering rape prosecution advice to boost conviction rates and take weak cases out of the system. So that is my first story. Well, it is a bit of a heavy one to start with, I know, but the message needs to get out there. No means no.
That's right. No means no. Well, I'm so glad you're on this topic.
Right. Anybody else have any views on this?
I got a question. How many years has this been implanted? How many years have we had this Zello?
Granny, what can I say? I don't know how many years Zello has been running, but your question doesn't relate to the story going on the afternoon twist, so I will move on. Kayla, what is your first story?
Alright, I have a interesting story for y'all. A 50-mile police chase ends with arrest of Westernport man. A 50-mile police pursuit of a stolen vehicle from the west side of Cumberland to a side street in Berkeley Springs ended late Tuesday with the arrest of 25-year-old man of Westernport, according to the Allegheny County Sheriff's Office. The incident began just before 10 p.m. when a vehicle reported stolen earlier in the evening was observed leaving a Frostburg business and then traveling onto eastbound Interstate 68. Minutes later, the suspect vehicle was observed in Cumberland, where a deputy attempted to stop the vehicle. The suspect vehicle failed to stop and turned from Johnson Street back to eastbound I-68. Police said the chase with speeds up to 100 miles per hour then traversed Allegheny County with a deputy in pursuit, along with Maryland State Police units. The deputy opted to continue the pursuit east into Washington County due to late traffic and dry road conditions. A Hancock police officer deployed stop sticks and flattened one tire of the suspect vehicle on I-68 near the I-70 interchange. Despite the punctured tire, Davis continued driving from I-68 to I-70 before heading south on U.S. Route 522 with the West Virginia State Police and the Morgan County Sheriff's Office entering the chase. The pursuit ended minutes later after the suspect struck a Morgan County Sheriff's cruiser at a low speed on a side street in Berkeley Springs. Davis was arrested there without further incident. Well, at least he didn't cause any further incident after the car finally stopped.
Any further incident? Okay. Maybe he wanted a McDonald's. So, do we have any views on the police chase? Do they use too much excessive force? Is force needed sometimes to stop a chase escalating?
Of course, force is needed. If you're chasing somebody, then you got to K-turn them.
So, you agree force is needed. Does this include shooting out tires, causing a possible severe accident, or the use of stop sticks, electronic devices to shut the engine down? There are plenty of ways of stopping a chase, I assume.
There probably is. there's electronic devices, but the cars aren't equipped with them. So if you got to shoot out the tires or you got to, K-turn them or whatever the deal is, you do what you got to do to save, the person keeps driving down the road, they could possibly injure or kill somebody else. So you do what you got to do.
Yes, and that was actually a local story from our newspaper. And I know the area they were talking about. I didn't know the guy personally. But yes, I think that sometimes excessive force is needed.
Right, okay, so when it comes to taking cars out of action, either like T-pack or aggressive stop pit maneuvers maybe, and something goes wrong and the police vehicle is badly damaged, obviously the state, the local law enforcement ends up paying for the damage, which is then passed on to the tax people. Surely there must be a need for less intrusive ways of stopping vehicles.
You know what? I don't want nobody having control of my vehicle except me. Not the police, not the government, not anybody. I know how to drive, I'm sure you know how to drive and this, that, and the other thing, but you get a robber or something like that or whatnot, yeah, there should be a less intrusive way to do it.
Wait till it's in a safe area.
Or a safer way to do it instead of the pit maneuver or whatever. But sometimes you got to do what you got to do, and that's all there is. There ain't no more.
But Todd, I gotta say your background sounds a lot better than you do.
Well, maybe they could. I'm not sure whether it's a fantasy, but some form of expandable foam that they drive into it and get stuck. Surely that would be safer. Hey, have I come up with something for tomorrow's world?
I was going to say, psychobagpus, does that even exist in today's world right now? And if it doesn't, then you've got to do what you got to do, because if the farther they go, the longer they drive at 100 miles an hour, the more damage they could do in the process. I mean, you see YouTube videos all the time of high-speed chases and them crashing through, 10 cars or running up the sidewalk and mowing out, 15 to 20 people. So you kind of got to take them out when you can, but hopefully it's in a safe area. As much damage as you can get, you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Because obviously any damage caused has to be repaired and paid for by someone, and obviously you can't pay for any loss of life if there is any, heavens forbid. Okay, my second story I've got for you. Bear with it. You might not understand what's going on, but all will be revealed. A pair of durable boots is a must-have in anyone's winter wardrobe, and a team of archaeologists has found a timeless pair in a very unlikely place. The skeleton of a man dating back around 500 years has been being discovered face down in the mud under London's River Thames, with his thigh-high leather footwear remaining virtually intact. The find was made in Bermondsey, South London, by archaeologists working on London's new super sewer, a £4.2 billion, $5.4 billion tunnel that will capture, store and transfer raw sewage and rainwater that currently overflows into the river. The mystery of the man's sturdy and sought-after footwear has prompted the teams to investigate further. Leather was an expensive commodity in Tudor times, and it is unlikely someone would have been buried wearing such a highly prized item, according to MOLA Headland, the firm leading the project. Meanwhile, the man's demise was very likely premature. But the company notes that the banks of the Thames were a hazardous place in the late 15th and early 16th century, to which the skeleton has been dated. He may have been a fisherman, a mudlark, or perhaps a sailor. They have helped us to better understand how they have made his living in hazardous, difficult conditions, but also how he may have died. It has been a privilege to be able to study something so rare and so personal, Richardson added. The boots were built with extra soles and stuffed with moss of a similar material to help them last in tough terrain, according to the firm's conservation experts. Investigation of the man's bones has also provided further clues to the mystery. He was likely to have died under the age of 35 and had deep grooves in his teeth, most likely caused by a repetitive action like passing rope between his teeth as a fisherman might, according to the company. The archaeologists speculated by studying the boots we've been able to gain a fascinating glimpse into the daily life of a man who lived as many as 500 years ago, said Beth Richardson. And so a man dressed in thigh-high leather boots, well, not a man, a skeleton, found in the mud in the Thames. There we go. What are your views on this?
Makes a change from them being concrete boots.
I think it was John.
You think it was John? There was no sign of no elephant. And shout goes out to Fat Guy Family on the Twitch stream. Hello, Fat Guy Family.
I can't imagine wearing thigh-high boots. Now I'm picturing halfway up the thigh. That would be interesting, but can you imagine all the leather that went into that? That would be probably a whole cow.
Well, I'm thinking, when they say thigh-high boots, I'm thinking more along the lines of waders. So maybe, yes, he was wading around in the water.
Do a lot of mudlarking down the Thames, so it's easy to be caught out by tides and stuff.
Yes, can you explain mudlarking? Because it was mentioned in the report. Is that where you just go around looking for stuff that's been washed up? Or is it like shellfish or lugworms or...
Mudlarking can be used for archaeology as well. Along the Thames, with it being such a busy port at the time, a lot of stuff gets dropped over the sides and stuff. And over time, erosion can bring them back. So you get a few people who go out looking for looking for artefacts down the sides of the Thames.
And that's why I like you so much, Alan. You're a fountain of knowledge. Do we have any more views on this? Or shall we pass it over to Kayla for the next story?
Alright then, well, my next story is about Joe Flacco. He lost his job as Ravens starting quarterback. And, yes. So, as he worked diligently for more than a month to return from a potentially dangerous hip injury, Joe Flacco watched the Baltimore Ravens flourish without him. Now that he's healthy, Flacco must adjust to a role he's never experienced during his 11-year NFL career, backup quarterback. On Wednesday, Ravens coach John Harbaugh selected rookie Lamar Jackson as his starter, opting to play the hot hand rather than a former Super Bowl MVP who's been starting since his inaugural season in 2008. With Baltimore desperate to end the 3-year playoff drought, Harbaugh decided the Ravens would be best served with Jackson running the offense. The 33-year-old Flacco has 163 career starts compared to Jackson's 4 and has guided the Ravens into the playoffs on 6 occasions. He was Super Bowl MVP in 2012 when he led Baltimore past San Francisco to cap a postseason in which he threw 11 touchdown passes and no interceptions. Flacco realized his future in Baltimore would be in jeopardy as soon as the Ravens selected Jackson out of Louisville with a 32nd overall pick in April. Yes, and looks like they're playing right now. I think it's still in the first quarter. Score is 0-0. I know that several of y'all are Steelers fans, and I believe the Steelers play today at 4:30. So looking forward to that game as well. Alright, Psycho Bagpush, you have any other news for us?
Yeah. I suffered a Zello glitch then. It threw me offline. I missed the end of your story. But I do have something for you. Right. Like a virgin. Tourist ship touches space for the first time. Story by Joel Taylor. Right, Virgin Galactic's tourism spaceship climbed more than 50 miles high above California's Mojave Desert, reaching what the company considers the edge of space for the first time. The successful flight took the company one step closer to turning the dream of commercial space tourism into a reality. A special jet carrying the Virgin spaceship Unity climbed to nearly 43,000 feet before releasing the craft. The spaceship ignited its rocket engine and hurtled to an altitude of 51 miles. It then began its gliding descent back to the runway, said mission official Enrico Palmo. He added, "We made it to space. More than 600 people have already paid up to £200,000 to ride on the 6-passenger rocket." Virgin Group's founder Sir Richard Branson said, "I spoke to our astronauts and they were looking at Mexico in one direction and Canada in another. I'm really looking forward to going up myself next year." He said the ship was magnificent, declaring, "Space is virgin territory." Virgin, like the US Air Force, considers 50 miles the edge of space, but the long-held view is the boundary is 62 miles. The achievement did not impress rail passengers on a day when 18% of Virgin Trains' West Coast journeys were either late or cancelled, overheated, overcrowded, and no Wi-Fi, truly cattle class. Disappointed, tweeted Diana Spears on a Virgin train to Glasgow. And then on to Paisley, added John Hawthorne Merrow. So far, train only 5 minutes late, early doors, lots of people without seats. So, Richard Branson is at it again. And, well, they did have a disaster when their previous test ship exploded, didn't they? So at least this one stayed in one piece. I'm going to throw that open to people on the channel and in text. And hello, Amber. I see you like a good rocket. Is it a Tilly's chocolate rocket by any chance?
So the vehicles will climb for about 45 minutes. They're going to head north out of here in sort of a horseshoe pattern to the north, and then head south to the planned release port.
And a shout out to Hey, it's Lone Star. Hello, welcome to the Afternoon Twist on CB Radio Drama Free. ROC Productions, and people out there can join us on CB Radio Drama Free. All you have to do is download the Zello app and search for CB Radio Drama Free with the channel owner Rattlesnake One. Register your account, be over 18 and drama free. We do no racism of any kind, and everyone is welcome as long as you can respect other people in the channel. We look forward to seeing you in the channel. And moving on, Kayla, for the next story.
Alright, I have another local story for y'all from my local newspaper. It's about a suspect in Garrett County bank robberies ID'd as Pennsylvania man. The suspect, who allegedly robbed 2 Garrett County banks Thursday morning, has been positively identified as 57-year-old man of Pennsylvania. According to Maryland State Police at Pikesville, a warrant has been issued for Gibson's arrest in 2 counts of robbery with a dangerous weapon, and 2 counts of theft less than $1,000. The charges stemmed from the robbery of the First United Bank in Friendsville just before 10 a.m. Thursday, and the M&T Bank branch on Main Street in Grantsville about an hour later. In both incidents, the suspect reportedly presented notes to tellers indicating that he was in possession of a firearm. No weapons were observed and no injuries were reported in either incident. That prompted a widespread search for the suspect, who was said to be operating a blue Kia Forte. A lookout for the suspect and vehicle was broadcasted to law enforcement throughout the region. Early Thursday afternoon, a vehicle matching the description was spotted on U.S. Route 219 in nearby Somerset County. A Pennsylvania State Police trooper attempted to stop the vehicle on U.S. 19 in Somerset Township in the area of Berkeley and Lake Roads and Russell Alley before the suspect exited the vehicle and fled on foot. And as far as I know, he is still being looked for. It didn't say that he was caught. So, pretty interesting.
Yes, that is interesting. So, people are out there that need to be found. Do we have any views on this?
Well, I didn't know that guy either, but it is in the general area that I'm in. About 45 minutes away. So yeah, I don't know. So Tilly, a Pennsylvania man, robbed 2 banks over here in Maryland. Do you have anything to say about that? What about you there, Eagle Mama?
Hello, CB Radio Drama Free. Hatchie the Hound checking in. It's been a full day. Haven't heard from you guys or talked to you guys today. Just a little bit yesterday, but I'm doing okay. A bit rainy here in Philly, cold. It's a cold rain, but I'm doing okay.
Hatchet, you can't be keying up right now during the show. Hey, all right, I'm on the side listening. Hatchet, watch when you key up.
Hello, Hatchet the Hand. Welcome to the Afternoon Twist on CB Radio Drama Free. And, maybe a little bit of time pause to let the host actually interact with the guests, please. Right, my next story is about princesses over here in the United Kingdom. A des res fit for a duchess. Kate and Pippa's former Chelsea home put up for sale by parents. The Chelsea flat, once shared by Kate Middleton and her sister Pippa, is up for sale for £1.95 million, a figure that could net their family a princely profit. Kate's parents, Michael and Carol, bought the 3-bedroom West London flat for £780,000 in 2002, giving them a potential return of £1.2 million, according to the Sunday Times. The apartment, marketed by Knight Frank, has 3 floors and is decorated in neutral colours, with traditional furniture, oriental-style rugs and comfortable sofas. The kitchen has oak-coloured fittings with black marble tops, and the bathroom has marble tiles. The sisters no longer need the central pad. Now they have taken giant leaps up the property ladder. The Duchess of Cambridge married Prince William in 2011, and they moved to a 20-room apartment in Kensington Palace, with views of Hyde Park, in 2013 after Prince George was born. Meanwhile, Pippa resides in a £17 million London townhouse with husband James Matthews, a hedge fund multimillionaire, and their 3-month-old son Arthur. The couple recently spent £1.2 million renovating the 5-storey mansion, which has a gym and underground cinema, a lift and 6 bedrooms. Kensington Palace was unable to comment on the sale. So, sell off your house at a profit because you married a prince. There we go. Property, money's in property. Okay. It's rather quiet out there. People, do you want to interact with us? Hey, Gymshark. Ah, Gymshark, hello. I see you in the text box.
You doing okay?
Yay. So, okay, it all seems to be going on in the text box and not on chat at the moment. Kayla, what do you have for me next?
Alright, I have some questions for everybody. This week it'll be one answer questions, but they are fairly easy. So just like any other week, if you know the answer or think you know the answer, either key up or text it in the text box. Alright, question number 1. What is the most common blood type in humans?
A positive.
Oh,
A positive. I was going to say that too.
So, it's the universal.
That is right, it is O positive. Alright, a couple people got that one right. Alright, question number 2. Which gland in the human body regulates metabolism?
thyroid.
Yeah. Because my mom had surgery for thyroid. Yep.
Absolutely correct. It's thyroid.
Very good. Yes, it is your thyroid. Alright, question number 3. What is the nickname for the 4-engine B-17 bomber planes used during World War II?
Can you repeat that question, please?
Sure. What is the nickname for the 4-engine B-17 bomber planes used during World War II?
Flying Fortress.
Very good, yes. It is the Flying Fortress. All right. Question number 4. What is the 3-letter airport code for the Los Angeles International Airport?
LAX.
Absolutely correct. LAX.
Yeah, but don't go looking for itiv there. Or otherwise you might end up with the same problem that the brain tool show suffered.
Alan is on fire.
Yes, he is. All right, question number 5. Which major American airline is named after a Greek letter? Which major American airline is named after a Greek letter?
Delta.
Delta.
Yes, very good, Delta. All right, this is another easy one. Question number 6. What city is most commonly referred to as the City of Light?
Las Vegas.
Driver Chris says Sunderland.
It is actually Paris, France. Yes, the city of light. All right, question number 7. Olympia is the capital city of which U.S. state?
WA, what does that stand for?
Washington.
Yes, WA stands for Washington. There's Psychobacpus. Yes, it is correct. It is Washington. All right, question number 8. Which 2 South American countries do not touch the sea? All right, and I'll repeat it again. Which 2 South American countries do not touch the sea?
Bolivia and Paraguay.
Yes, very good. All right. Question number 9. In which national park would you find the geyser known as Old Faithful?
Yellowstone.
Jellystone.
Very good. Yes, Yellowstone National Park. All right, question number 10. Which continent is also a country?
No. Africa.
Australia? South Africa.
Very good, Eagle Mama. It is Australia. Yes, yes. All right, those are my questions for you this week. Y'all did very good.
But Alan, he was on a roll.
Driver Chris in the text box was on a roll as well with most right answers, apart from Sunderland.
Yes, Driver Chris did a very good job too, and everybody did a very good job.
Ooh, I got some interesting news just in. Oh my. Ramping up of production for Tilly's chocolate rocket has resulted in a bit of a accident. A chocolate leak closes a German street. A ton of chocolate liquid flows out of a factory in Westhonen, coating the pavement. A street in Germany was paved in chocolate yesterday after a spillage at the factory. Emergency services were called after a tank of chocolate in the factory spilled and poured into the street. A German newspaper, Soester Anzeiger, reported that a small technical defect involving a storage tank caused the chocolate to spill out from the Dreimeister chocolate factory in Westhonen. The chocolate mass travelled across the factory yard and into the street, news website The Local reported. After hitting the cold pavement, the milk chocolate quickly hardened and 25 firefighters worked to pry it off with shovels. About 10 square meters, 108 square feet, was cleared, and the firefighters also used hot water and torches to remove remaining bits from cracks and holes, reports The Guardian. The road had to be closed for 2 hours so the emergency service and specialist cleaning company could get to work scraping the chocolate off and cleaning the street. Production has begun again already at the factory, with company boss Marcus Lucky telling Soester and Ziegler that the failure at the chocolate manufacturer shortly before Christmas during peak production period would have been a catastrophe. I'm glad nothing happened at the end of the day, said Lucky. He added that he did not know exactly what happened to the tank, but added it was only a small thing. There was no major damage. So, a street full of chocolate. Chocolate. Okay. I wonder if John is on channel, because I've got something that's rather close to home for him. Stones, we'd rather get an Eiffel in Paris, by Gemma Francis. Ooh la la, Brits are more likely to have seen the Eiffel Tower than our very own Stonehenge, a study suggests. Less than half of 2,000 adults surveyed have visited the prehistoric landmark in Wiltshire, and 1 in 20 claim they have never heard of it. However, 52% of them said they had been to Paris to see the famous 1,063-foot tower. 4 in 10 have never visited the Lake District, and 54% have never seen the White Cliffs of Dover. Other landmarks many of us are yet to visit include the Forth Bridge near Edinburgh, Blackpool Tower, and the Roman Baths in Bath. Locating places also proved a problem for many. Just 4 in 10 said the Angel of the North was in Gateshead, with others believing it to be 95 miles away in Leeds, and a fifth struggled to identify Ben Nevis as a Scottish mountain. Some suggested it was a man's name. Isabel Williams, head of customer insight at rentalcars.com, which commissioned the survey, said, from the Empire State Building to the Taj Mahal, Britons love an Instagram shot showing how much of the world they've seen, yet it seems many are less likely to view what is on their doorstep. So people don't know where famous things are. Is this uncommon?
I don't think it is, because I was born in North Carolina, raised in California, and I met Eagle 14 years ago and came out here. He was born and raised in New Jersey, which is just a stone skip away from the Statue of Liberty, and he's never been there. I actually got to go see it with a friend of mine and go up in the Statue of Liberty before he has. He still hasn't been in the Statue of Liberty, and we're like 45 minutes to an hour away from it.
I thought the Statue of Liberty was a must for most people. Any other places that you don't actually know where they are, but wouldn't mind going and seeing?
Oh, well, the CN Tower is out in Toronto, which is really nice. I've been up there.
I like to see the Ground Zero in New York.
Space stuff. What would you like to go and see, or come and see?
Hello, everybody. Hello, hello. Good evening. Good afternoon.
Hello there, and welcome to the Afternoon Twist. I hope you enjoy the show today, and welcome to the channel.
Yes, good afternoon and welcome to the Afternoon Twist. Right, Kayla, do you have another story for us, or shall I move on?
Yes, I do. It's about the disappearance of Jamie Kloss. On Monday, October 15th, 2018, a 911 call was received from the Barron, Wisconsin, United States home of 13-year-old Jamie Kloss and her parents. Upon arrival by police, Kloss's parents were discovered shot to death and the teenager missing. According to police, Kloss is believed to have been abducted and is not a suspect in her parents' deaths. The night of the disappearance, a 911 call was made from the home around 1 a.m. While the operator didn't speak with anyone, they heard a disturbance and a lot of yelling. Upon arrival, police noticed that the front door had been kicked in and her parents, James and Denise, were dead from gunshot wounds. Investigators have received more than 2,000 tips in the case and have reviewed a large majority of them. There was an initial search on October 18th where searchers concentrated on the sides of U.S. Route 8, which is near the home. A U.S. $25,000 reward for any information leading to the location of Kloss was issued on September 24th, and then October 26th, the reward was doubled to $50,000. So she's still missing. I hope they find her soon.
Yes, I was going to say, when the reward starts going up, you start getting people phoning in. There we go. The question is, do they actually have any useful information? Right. I won't be alive in 10 years, thanks to Novichok. Poisoning victims' fear over his health, by Daniel Binns. Novichok survivor Charlie Rowley fears he will be dead within 10 years. The 45-year-old has revealed he is terrified about the future as he struggles with eyesight and mobility. I'm still worried the Novichok could kill me if I get any sort of virus again. It's on my mind all the time. I'm dreading getting a cold, he said. It was in June that Mr. Rowley picked up a Nina Ricci perfume bottle he found in Salisbury, Wiltshire, and gave it to his girlfriend Dawn Sturgis at their home in nearby Amesbury. She sprayed it on herself, and he got it all over his hands trying to fit a spray cap onto the bottle. Days later, Mrs. Sturgis, 44, was dead, and he was seriously ill in hospital after police discovered the bottle contained the nerve agent used to poison ex-Russian spy Sergei Skripal and his daughter Yulia in March. Unemployed, Mr. Rowley was back in hospital in August, suffering from blindness and lack of mobility. He was told he had meningitis. I may be out of hospital, but I don't feel safe. I'm terrified about the future, he told the Sunday Mirror. Doctors simply don't know what the long-term effects could be. The worst thing has been the fear over my sight. I'm struggling to see properly and to walk. I'm one of only a handful in the world to have survived Novichok, so it's untold territory. I feel like a guinea pig. I don't know what's going to happen from one day to the next. Mr. Rowley says he came out of hospital too early the first time. I remember losing all balance and suffering tunnel vision. He said, doctors told me I'd suffered numerous strokes and I needed heart treatment and a pacemaker. It's all to do with the Novichok. He is angry. He has felt suicidal, but has had no support. The system is flawed, he said. I need counselling. If the authorities offered me help, I would take it. I feel let down. I don't think I'll be alive in 10 years. So, our very own Novichok case over here. I'm sure you've heard John mention it a few times. So, what are your views on spying, use of different things to try and kill spies?
The use of nerve agents and chemical warfare should just be banned outright.
Yeah, I was going to say, this time it was Novichok. I do believe previously been used has been ricin.
It's everything. Yeah, even going back to the First World War with mustard gas and chlorine, it's just not the right way to fight a war. Like, don't care what anybody says, it needs banned, and banned now.
No.
Welcome to the afternoon twist, Giggles. So glad you could join us again this week. Right, Kayla, what other interesting stories have you got for us?
Yes, I actually have a short one for you. It's pretty interesting about a town throwing a birthday party for wild monkeys. Yes, a village in Thailand filled with picnic tables with snacks and sweets for the wild monkeys as part of what's become an annual birthday party for the creatures. The town of Lopburi marked the annual monkey party by putting out picnic tables filled with fruit, candy, ice cream, and juice for the monkeys, which live in and around the town's Buddhist temple. The tradition is a mass birthday party for the locally loved animals, residents said. Footage from the event shows the monkeys visiting with members of the crowd and even climbing on some spectators' heads. So, would anybody in here attend the birthday party or party for the wild monkeys?
Was there poop flinging involved? I'm pretty sure it might have been Buffalo Tool and Rob the Brain. They're two wild monkeys. Maybe they took a trip to Thailand.
I would totally go see something like that. That would be amazing. A monkey party with lots of ice cream and cake and monkeys on my head. That would be fantastic.
Absolutely. I would be there in a heartbeat.
Hello, April. Welcome to the afternoon twist. Thank you for your interaction. Yes. But, yeah. The question is, who would keep the monkeys under control? Hey, 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 we're the monkeys. Oh, dear. Right, I've got a, motorists forgetting the rules of driving. Sounds familiar. Right. Motorists are failing to understand fundamental rules of the road, a survey has found. A third of 2,000 drivers polled believed speed limit for cars on a dual carriageway is 60 miles per hour when it is actually 70. And 32% also think they should signal before checking their mirrors when carrying out a
Hey, everybody.
Okay, I got cut off again. Right, Drakai, I do believe you have joined us before for the afternoon twist. If you can wait to between stories for your interaction. I'll restart. Motorists are failing to understand fundamental rules of the road, a survey has found. A third of 2,000 drivers polled believed speed limit for cars on dual carriageways is 60 miles an hour when it is actually 70. And 32% also think they should signal before checking the mirrors when carrying out a manoeuvre. The poll by insurance provider First Central found more than 1 in 10 believe they can use their horn at any time of the day in a built-up area, but there is a curfew in place between 11:30 p.m. and 7 a.m. Whilst experienced drivers may be comfortable behind the wheel, it's concerning to see how many people have forgotten speed limits. No matter how many years of driving you have under your belt, it's important to remember the rules of the road to ensure a safe drive for all. And yes, I'm sure we've seen it. The idiots on the road, the people that like to pass you on the inside, the ones that will pass you, accelerate to pass you, and then slow down immediately that they get in front of you, which then forces you to then pass them again. I'm sure working on the highways, Eagle Todd has probably seen a lot more than most.
Absolutely, Psycho Bagpuss. You know what? He likes to put it, you know what? They just don't give a shit. They don't care. They are gonna, it's me, myself, and I out there, and they're all about themselves, and they're gonna go this way over the speed limit. It could be 65 miles an hour, and they're driving 85. They don't abide by rules. They're weaving in and out of traffic. They're cutting people off. It's horrible.
Now, do we have some people that actually admit to doing this themselves?
Yeah, I've been there and done that. Yeah, when I'm not working, I'm on my motorcycle. Yeah, I've done 80, 100 miles an hour or whatnot, but it's in close quarters. It's, in straightaways where there's not a lot of traffic or whatnot. But yeah, on every day-to-day basis, yeah, it's crazy.
It's infabulable. But saying that, working for the DOD, or DOT yourself, and then admitting to being reckless on the road, well, yeah, all these people that will go fast thinking that they're going to get somewhere quicker, and then they still end up at a queue at the end of the road anyway, so what is the point? Drive safely, get there safe. And yeah, and I do have a story that relates to the recent wildfires. A loyal dog guards burned out home for weeks. A dog which survived the California wildfires guarded the ruins of his home for a month until his owner returned. Madison was waiting for Andrea Gaylord when she was allowed back to the burned down house in Paradise. Mrs. Gaylord fled when the fire broke out on November 8th, destroying most of the town. An animal rescuer who responded to Mrs. Gaylord's plea to check on Madison spotted the male Anatolian shepherd several days later. Shayla Sullivan said Madison was apprehensive and kept his distance. She left food and water for him until Miss Gaylord was allowed back in. She also helped find Madison's brother Miguel, who was taken to the shelter 85 miles away. If the evacuees can't be there, I'm going to be, and I'm not going to give up on their animal until they can get back in, Mrs. Sullivan said. The dogs were reunited on Friday when Miss Gaylord returned with Miguel and Madison's favourite treat, a box of wheat crackers. She told news station ABC 10 she could not ask for a better animal. Imagine the loyalty of hanging in the worst of circumstances and being here waiting, she said. Miss Gaylord said the dog's instinct to watch the flocks and were part of them, adding it's a comforting feeling. So, dogs being loyal, even though sometimes we are not loyal to them. Yes, man's best friend.
And that is why I work with dogs.
Sometimes I make the mistake of going for a hibiscus instead of my high vis. I look silly walking out the door with a pot plant. Yes. Okay. Ooh, okay, so candy. Who likes jujubes? I've got a story here actually. Freya, 3, left scarred for life by her henna tattoo. Right, a girl of 3 was left with chemical burns and permanent scars from a black henna tattoo she got on holiday. Freya Ellis was on a break in Antalya, Turkey, when Mum Marlana treated her to the design at a barber shop. But after returning home, she complained the cat pattern stretching from her wrist to her elbow was itchy. The design later erupted into painful blisters, which then became infected. Single mum Miss Ellis said, "My little girl has been scarred for life after getting what I thought was a harmless black henna tattoo. It's heartbreaking." The nurse, 32, said she was entirely unaware of the dangers of tattoos. She added Freya was desperate for a tattoo when she'd seen older kids with them. She'd been so well behaved, I decided to treat her. She said the shop where Freya got the tattoo seemed clean and tidy, and the man who did the design wiped her arm with antiseptic beforehand. But 3 days later, Freya complained about an itching sensation on her arm. I had a look, but there was nothing visible. When she woke up the next day, she was in tears. Nasty red, raw blisters full of fluid started to appear on her arm, said Miss Ellis of Herne Bay, Kent. She took Freya to a local hospital, where her injury was diagnosed by a doctor as chemical burns. I was shocked, said Miss Ellis. Black henna contains a chemical called paraphenylandamine, used in sun cream and hair dye. In very small doses, which is now recognized as a public health issue, it can cause hypersensitive reactions in children. Miss Ellis said, I want to make people aware because so many children have them done on holiday. Freya is scarred for life. She'll forever have a cat on her arm, she added. So, there we go. The dangers of henna, black henna. And what are your views on this, apart from why would you let a 3-year-old child have a tattoo, a henna tattoo in the first place?
Not in my house, not one of my kids, not one of my grandkids. No way. No. Nope.
Shoot, I'm 38 years old and still don't have a tattoo. No, thank you.
Amber, I'm 51 and I still don't have a tattoo. My daughter does, but I didn't even let her get her ears pierced until she was, old enough to tell me, Mommy, I want a piercing. I want my ears pierced. But no, tattoos, those are for life, and they need to be old enough to make that decision in a right mind, and because you can't just easily have them removed, and they might regret it later.
Well, the only tattoos I would give a 3-year-old is the ones that stick on with water and wash off within a couple days. That's it.
If you ever get a tattoo, just don't get a guy's name on your case. It doesn't work out between you and him. Then you're stuck with it if you got that.
Well, the only way I'd ever put anybody's name on my body is if it was my kids, and I don't have no kids, so forget the tattoos. They're out the window.
All right. My quote for this week is a little bit of a funny one. Giggles might relate to it. Right, okay. You can't be everyone's cup of tea, otherwise you be a mug.
So true.
That is true. It's funny too.
I like that quote. Good one, like a bag puss. Again.
It's true. You can't please everybody.
Nice show, guys. Awesome.
So, how's the chocolate rocket?
Amber and Succubagpus, very good show. Thank you again for another successful Sunday. I'm sorry, Kayla. I'm so sorry.
Very good show, guys. I really enjoy it every week. Good job.
I think there's still some more show left.
Hang on, who said it's over? Unless, of course, Tilly's trying to get rid of us off the channel already. I did have some questions, but Ling Ling, I think, might have stolen them. Where are they? Where are my questions gone? Oh, heck. Aphrodisiacs. Aphrodisiacs. What is your favourite aphrodisiac? No, that's them. Okay. I do have a sports story. Right, Spurs investigating alleged attacks on their supporters at the new camp. Tottenham are seeking answers from authorities in Spain following reports their fans were subjected to heavy-handed treatment from stewards in Barcelona. Spurs travelled to the new camp for Tuesday's Champions League game, and an official allocation of 4,800 supporters saw their team earn a 1-1 draw to secure a place in the last 16. But footage on Twitter apparently shows some of their fans being struck with batons by stewards inside the ground, while others were also filmed getting hit on the way in. A club spokesman said, "We've been made aware of a number of issues our fans faced in gaining access to the stadium. The reports from our fans are obviously of great concern to us, and we shall be contacting the relevant authorities." Okay. Yeah, and okay, so unless there's anything further, I'd like to. Oh, yes, I've just found something. Don't forget, Mary Poppins returns this coming Christmas. She's back, but yikes, she's not Julie Andrews. Yeah, at the moment. She eats licorice in the movie? You're shitting me. Well, she would be if she ate too much licorice. Oops. Spoilers. I like her. This remake is spot on. Set 25 years after the 1964 Oscar-winning original, it sees the now adult Banks siblings Jane and Michael, Emily Mortimer and Ben Whishaw, facing foreclosure on the family home. Michael's wife has recently died, forcing his 3 children to grow up too fast. Enter Mary Poppins to re-establish both financial japes and order, with a little help from Cockney lamplighter.
Cockney! Can't wait to see that film. Cannot wait. Love it. Love Mary Poppins. And I've seen the trailer and it looks awesome. It looks really good. I'm a bit excited.
Now that trailer, did it show her eating licorice? Because she had a spoonful of sugar to help the medicine go down in the first one. This time she's eating licorice.
It certainly did, yes. Yes. Ah, it looks so good.
Chim chimney, chim chimney, chim chim chiroo.
What, the film or the licorice?
I can't wait. I'm seeing that show. I'm seeing that movie. Yeah, one day next week. Or this coming week, I'm sorry. I'm going to see that movie with my mom. Yay!
Now, I actually went and saw Aquaman a couple of days ago. Yes. The film was okay, but it was wishy-washy in places. They could have done so much more with it. Okay. Right. Yeah, well, Lone Wolf, I hear you talking about chimneys. Do you have any chimneys? I've got 1, 2. We got 3 chimneys in this house, and we had another 2 chimney breast taken out when the downstairs was being remodeled. So, is it chimneys all round or chim chim chiroo? Right, so thank you for the afternoon twist. This has been an ROC production on the Zello Radio Network. See you again next time. Thank you, everybody.